Tonight on Saltiness Isn't Bliss, I've got a pot of boiling water. I've got a half a pound of thin spaghetti noodles. Why? Because I am making spaghetti aglio e olio. Not only is it fun to say, it's fun to make. So the idea here, guys, is you want to get a pot of water boiling. You want to use whatever spaghetti noodles you like. Cook and prepare them however you do. I know everybody's got a little bit of a variation, different way they make them. So cook your noodles, and when our noodles are just about done, we'll come back and we'll do our last steps, which will include all these delicious ingredients behind me. So I will see you there. Okay, so a little sneak peek on our noodles. They are coming along nicely. They've got a little gentle boil going. So next up, we want to start preparing and prepping our pan here for what our noodles will go in, and it will flavor and season our noodles. So we're going to put a half of 1/3 cup, or 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of olive oil into a pan, and we're going to turn that on to medium high. I like to spread my oil around so that it starts off pretty even in there. As soon as you notice your oil is warmed, we will turn our heat down to medium, and that's when we'll start to add in all our other flavors over here. All right, so our olive oil is warmed in our pan. Burner is down to medium. Next step, we want to take 2 garlic cloves that are sliced, and we want to saute them in our pan. Or in other words, we are going to keep them in there until, well, they're going to stay in there, but we are going to cook them in there until they start to get a light brown to them. And you'll kind of see and hear them cooking as well. You'll start to see some little bubbles as they cook. So this is what your garlic should look like as it starts to saute. You'll see all those little bubbles around it. So you can just move it around occasionally as it cooks. Spread it out as best you can. You'll hear a little sizzle in there as well. And like I said, once it gets a little brown to it, that's when we will know we're done, and we'll move on to our next step. All right, so there's that nice little brown hue that I was talking about. So now we are going to remove it from the heat. I've got my burner down to low because we will put it back on the heat in just a bit. And now we're going to add our seasonings in with our oil and garlic. So we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of dried parsley flakes and 1/8 teaspoon each of crushed red pepper and a garlic herb seasoning. We're just going to pour all that in there. Stir it around as best we can. Start to smell all those flavors as you blend and mix it together. So we're going to leave that off the heat for a moment. Our next step is to take our noodles that are cooked, and we want to drain them. The key to this recipe is we don't want to drain all the water out. So we want to leave just a little bit of water in the bottom, because once we put our noodles back in with all this seasoning and oil, that little bit of water is going to help to just gel everything together and stick all those flavors onto our noodles. So now we will move this pan back on the heat. Again, burner's on low. Dump all that pasta and the water in the pot into our pan. And now you're going to mix it up real well. So now we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And we're going to mix that well. All right, so here it is in a bowl. We've got all the melted cheese and our browned garlic right on top there. How delicious does that look? Last step is we're going to garnish the top with some dried basil. If you have fresh, that would be best. I did have fresh last time I made it, ran out now, so dried works just the same. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.